Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King. Welcome to another live episode, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight we are going to get newsy with all of you. How you doing, Michelle? Thank you for joining the show tonight. How you doing, Kendall? Thank you for joining the show tonight. I hope everybody's doing well. The weather has been so fantastic here in Washington, D.C. I mean, I can't get enough of it. And I even did my first 3-mile walk for the season, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't sneeze the whole time. But we are in the month of May. Mother's Day is coming. Let me see. Memorial Day is coming. Pride Month begins, ladies and gentlemen. And the biggest holiday season of all. Gemini is in the month. It starts in the month of May. Gemini season is here. If you don't know, I better ask somebody. I am a Gemini and I am ready for Gemini season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend, I had the amazing opportunity to have a play date in New York. That means I went to see a series of plays in New York. And one of the plays that I went to see was a play called Purpose. And if you all have not heard of it, I'm telling you, this play is, when I say acting at its finest, let me be specific, Black acting at its finest, it really is. The play is spirited, hilarious, and it's filled with like all this intrigue. And it's a new play by a gentleman by the name of Brandon Jacobs Jenkins. And he won a Tony Award in 2024 for Appropriate. And to even put the cherry on top of the cake, two-time Tony Award winner Felicia Rashad is directing the play, ladies and gentlemen. So I got to tell you what it's all about. It is about this influential family by the name of the Jaspers, who have been the pillar of Black American politics, civil rights leaders and pastors and congressmen. But like all families, there are cracks and secrets under the surface. And their youngest son comes home and he brings home a friend of his, and it's not what you think, but he brings home a friend of his and all hell break loose. And I mean, the play is the literal bomb. And I got to tell you, I have to look at my phone for it to share this with you all. This week, because the Tony Award nominations are out, it has been nominated for 6 Tony. It has 6 Tony nominations, including Best Play, 5 Outer Critics Circle Award nominations, including Outstanding New Broadway Play, 3 Drama League Award nominations, including Outstanding Play of a Production of a Play, and 2 Drama Desk Award nominations for Outstanding Play. Please, if you get a chance, go up to New York before it leaves in July to see Purpose. It is worth it. And one last caveat is at the Helen Hayes Theater, and the seats are about this big. And I'm telling you, you might have to shift yourself a little bit, but it's worth the 3 hours that the play is running. All right. Also, this week, the Trump-controlled Kennedy Center has canceled all of the 2025 World Pride events, according to the Associated Press. And the Capitol Pride Alliance confirmed that it has been forced to cancel parts of its Tapestry of Pride program, originally scheduled to take place from June 5th through June 8th at the Historic Art Institution, and relocate some of the World Pride Welcome Center. Now, in February, as you know, Trump announced that he intended to fire members of the Kennedy Center's board of trustees and install himself as the chairman, and said that because of recent drag programming. But days later, Trump named Richard Grenell, an out gay man. Let me repeat that. An out gay man currently serving in the newly created role of Special Presidential Envoy for Special Missions. And he said, as the Kennedy Center's interim head, Rick shares my vision for a golden age of American arts and culture and will be overseeing the daily operation of the center. No more drag shows or other anti-American propaganda, only the best. My point with sharing this with y'all, other than Donald Trump is a moron, is that a gay person, he put in charge of doing this. All gay people aren't alike, ladies and gentlemen. Don't think that we're fighting for the same cause. Okay, I just want you all to know all gay people are not made the same. Just know that. Okay, this is absolutely ridiculous to me to hear that this gay gentleman who's running this shares the views of Donald Trump's, who could care less about his fundamental ways and beliefs or life. It just really gets under my skin. But as they say, the show must go on. And before I bring the guys on, I got to share with you something that for those of you who weren't here last week, HeSaid has had the honor of being added to the lineup of some of the kickoff events associated with the World Pride. And the Mayor's Office on LGBTQ Affairs are hosting an organization in conjunction with Seabury Resources for Aging. And they are hosting a Silver Pride event on Wednesday, May the 21st here in Washington, D.C. at the Eaton Hotel. And HeSaid are going to host the red carpet. So the first faces you see when you walk into this event, and I do want you all to come to this event, and I'm asking my producer to put the website up so you can register and come to this event. Is going to be great. I mean, they're going to have food and music, dancing, and a lot of community connection. And it's for us. It is for us, the seniors, I'm not saying senior citizens, seasoned silver folks like me. And I want you all to come. So if you all can be there, please come, because this is an honor for them to call and have HeSaid be a part of it. Well, again, that's the website. Go to the website and register if you can come. And one more thing, for those of you, it is from 4 to 7. They're calling it a tea dance. Some of you who've been out here a long time, you all call it happy hour, whatever. Come down and join us and come on the red carpet. So HeSaid can entertain you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Let's Get Newsy show that's action-packed. And if you all are ready, let's get on with the chat. Gentlemen.
Bonsoir.
Oh, look, he's speaking all different kind of languages when he comes on.
Yeah. You were talking red carpet and all that, and obviously he's just kind of like, feeling yeah. Oh, Lord have mercy. Good. Happy Friday, gentlemen. TG.
Happy Friday to you two beautiful men. You guys have a great week?
Yes, and happy Cinco de Mayo weekend as well.
Oh.
I think is that this weekend or next week? Is this weekend?
It is. Today is the 2nd, so the 3rd, 4th, so Monday is the 5th.
There you go.
Yeah.
But does it start this weekend?
I am.
Oh, I was going to say you are. I was going to say because I'm getting off the street, because Cinco de Mayo brings out a lot of parties.
It kind of reminds me of New Year's Eve for me. That there are people out there drinking and driving. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to be all right at home.
Yeah,
absolutely crazy. Look, but we got some folks who have joined us. I already said hello to Michelle and Kendall. Rose is here tonight. Monica is with us tonight. Shawn, thank you for joining us. Michelle Sims, girl, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome back. Let me see. John Reed is here. Thank you, John, for coming back. John, you was so good last week. I'll hope to see you online. I'll tell you about that. But thank you for being here tonight.
I'm so excited about this red carpet opportunity you talked about, though. That I'm really excited about that. Silver Pride and being able to celebrate and make visible, seasoned members of the LGBTQ community. It's exciting, and doing a little red carpet, is going to be a fun adventure for us.
It is really something that, and just real quick, because I've been keeping it under wrap with even you guys, because when they called, the event was already done. So they called and said, we wanted you. And I said, okay, what are we going to do? And they said, well, what would you like to do? Now, you know me, Bobby. Don't put me in an empty saucepan, okay? I'm going to cook something up. And so... Yeah. And so the opportunity was there. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it. And it's an honor, because this is the first time that, the mayor's office has asked us to be a part of this. This is like,
we're gonna have fun. It's going to be a fun time.
This is fun. This is fun. But I'm glad you guys have had a good week. You look like you've both been sun-kissed. So, I can't be mad at that. But again, our Let's Get Newsy show, ladies and gentlemen, news has been coming in by the minute. Okay. And so our writers just got tired and just told us, here, take the script and go for it. Okay. So just want y'all to know. But one of the top stories right now actually happened last week. And it's about the White House has been accused of intentionally using a black and white filter on images of Donald Trump and Melania at the Pope's funeral to hide a disrespectful decision by the president, who showed up in a blue suit. Now, Trump and the First Lady are rarely seen in public together, but put on this united front as they attended the funeral in Rome. The couple made a rare display of affection as they held hands while they were walking through St. Peter's Square. Look, you see how I changed my tone a little bit on that. And Melania looked as stoic as she could possibly look to get through that, ladies and gentlemen. But, okay. I do have a question for all the viewers, and you all can weigh in. And Bobby, you guys, please. What was Trump's decision to wear a blue suit, you think, to Pope Francis' funeral disrespectful, or are people reading too much into this whole, level of fashion choices? What do you think?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and start and say that I think that he just has some memory issues and therefore wasn't sure about what color he was wearing.
Wow. Okay, then. Well, what I will say to you is that I think we are all well aware that leaders of this height of a position of leadership, particularly on the global stage, the presidents of nations, leaders, world leaders have handlers, so to speak. Like nothing is very little is left to spontaneity or serendipity. Like you're going to be on a world stage, and there are people whose job it is to advise you on what is appropriate protocol and different situations. So it's not like he went to his closet, picked out a blue suit, like everything is very orchestrated and planned when it comes to this. Everyone knows the world would be watching this ceremony.
But we're talking about a man who is a narcissist, who is going to do what he wants to do irregardless.
Absolutely. So that's where I'm leading, is that I am sure, without question, that there was someone within that circle that said it is appropriate under these conditions to wear a black suit, particularly at such a high level funeral. As you could see everyone else wearing, and you saw Melania had on black as well. Yeah. But as Shawn is indicating, this is someone who's like, I want to do what I want to do. And of course, that's what, and he was the only person of that level of leadership who was out of sync in terms of protocol and being respectful. So he chose to go his own way. And I do see it as an act of disrespect, because it's a high level and it's a very religious space in which he entered, and he just went on his own way. So he's a hobby.
Well, one more thing. Do you think the White House decision to use a black and white filter was intentional attempt to mislead the public, or just a stylistic choice for them?
I think deception is the normal protocol for this administration. I mean, when you look at people who have been sent out of the country inappropriately, and then all of a sudden you see, what seems to be photoshopped tattoos to try to say, see, he is a person that we said he was. Like when your administration is known for terminology that did not exist prior to it, such as fake news or alternative facts,
delusion.
Right. Yeah, so that's my take on it. But I will say to you that the suit choice was not the only issue that arose from their presence there at that particular service. In fact, there was also a distinct difference between the community's response to the arrival of many of these world leaders. In particular, it was noted that Ukrainian President Zelensky, when he arrived, received literal applause Like, people were honoring him and the way that he is representing and standing up for his country, in comparison to the dead silence that the president of the United States of America, often seen as a global world leader, received little to nothing, literally. And people were making comment to it and saying that, you know, while Zelensky was greeted with a spontaneous round of applause, our president in his blue suit at Pope Francis's funeral received nothing. And that is a quote from a post. So 0 for our president, and a literal round of applause for Zelensky. So what does that say to you guys in terms of, again, the place that America holds now on the stage in terms of being a country that has for many decades been respected as a world leader? What does it say to you?
It says to me, first of all, people in other countries outside of the United States, they see us and they know that we're in trouble. They know that we have the wrong person leading us. I think in many cases they feel sorry for us at this time, because what he has been allowed, or what he's doing, he's changing democracy of what it used to be, and people are seeing that. And I think people in other countries feel sorry for us.
You're being very kind in saying they feel sorry. I think they think we're stupid.
Well, at least half of us, half of the world is stupid. And see, and you know what? Since you all are poking the bear right now, especially you, Bobby, with this story that you just said, I want everybody who voted for him. Let me say this publicly. I want everybody who voted for him to feel the rhetoric and everything that he is doing to our country and the world. I don't care if they voted him and they are loyal as a split pea. And they're probably sitting back saying, well, they're doing it to you all too. But with us, we knew it was coming. And there's an advantage in knowing. Now, we are affected by it, but he bamboozled them, okay, completely. And for anybody who's losing their job, getting deported, if you voted for him, if you can't buy groceries tomorrow and you voted for him, y'all can finish the sentence. You know, huh?
A split pea's loyal? I've never heard that one. As loyal as a split pea?
I'm from the country. I'm from the country. From the country.
That one.
I know. You know, sometimes I have to get schooled on when to use some of my country phrases. Okay, but yeah.
I just wait. I've never heard that one. Split pea is loyal.
Take it to the bank. I'm going to copyright it because your astronaut be using it. But yes, I'm trying to be nice because we have to go to the edge where we can't jump.
We can't jump.
I want them to feel it. I want them to feel it because. Okay, Shawn. I'm sorry, Shawn. I know you got something to say, my brother. I'm sorry.
No, I mean I feel you. I'm with you 100%, and I just don't know why people are surprised by anything that this man does. So yeah. I don't have anything additional to say.
I don't think that countries are sympathetic to us. I think, and Alvin, as you say, people got bamboozled and so forth. This is someone who is in his second term. Like, if you didn't understand the first time the ineptness, the level of incompetency, the narcissist behavior, like if you didn't see all of that, the first time I remember people were saying, oh, give him a chance. You don't know. He's got good ideas. It's the economy. I heard all those things. The fact that this person is in a second term after he literally, again, in the middle of a pandemic, turned us into Lord of the Flies. There was no plan. States were on their own. Governors are out here trying to scoop others, trying to get masks. You're telling people that a pandemic didn't exist. Marginal, it just went on and on and on.
And drink bleach.
In the middle. So all that happened, and you then went into the ballot in the voting booth and went, check, that's the man that I want again. I don't know if that's not being bamboozled. That's stupid.
Well, again, you said I was being nice, and that's what
I
I
think you were being
nice. Thank you. Yeah,
Well,
and that's what we called he said.
well, to your point, Alvin, regarding those that voted for him and whatever happens to them, let it happen. They're going to see it. They're going to see it real soon because we are already seeing something repeat itself that happened during the pandemic in the early stages, and that is shipping containers. They're not coming to port. So particularly in Seattle, these tariffs are already having an impact. Seattle, which is one of the largest ports for this country, has seen a drastic decrease in the number of shipping containers coming into the city, but also Tacoma as well. So those two ports on the West Coast have seen a decline. And what reports are coming out and saying is that in May, this month, we're going to start seeing the impact of these ports not having anything to unload and ship to stores around the country. So you're going to see an increase in prices of goods all across this country. Now, I also read that we should start stocking up on items like toilet paper,
not again,
cleaning supplies, etc.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is to all you listeners and all those who are watching. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but again, that man in the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, these tariffs, you can start feeling the impact right away. So what did I do today? I went to Costco on a Friday. On a Friday, went to Costco.
You got toilet paper, Shawn.
I fucked up. Yeah, I got my toilet paper, I got my paper towels. I've got months of toothpaste. I got this and that. So yeah, so I'm probably good for the rest of the year.
Well, I figure if you're good, I'm good. I'll just come over and be like, Shawn.
Like am I doing?
It's a toothpaste and a roll of toilet paper, Shawn. Come on, look about that.
No, and we're laughing. I'm laughing, but Shawn is right. I mean, Shawn is. I know that I know your point is real, Shawn, and I'm an excessive buyer anyway. Anybody who knows me, if you open up any one of my cabinets, you're gonna see a whole bunch of everything in there. I'm an excessive buyer, so I get what you're saying to the point of people need to wake up because it's coming. You know what I'm saying? And really pay attention to it. We got some new folks that came in here while we were going off. I want to say hello to Glenn Baker. Thank you for being here, Glenn. Alma Gill, okay, has blessed us tonight. Thank you for joining us, Galman. She
against the loyal.
she know about split peas. What John Reese said, Christmas products, trees, garlic should have been ordered. John, don't do that to me.
Okay, don't do it.
You don't know me like that, John. Don't do that. Don't
order it now,
John. Okay. Eric Shields, thank you for being here tonight.
I'm a plug for Costco. Talking about how good their things are.
Ooh, well, Bobby, you've already commissioned me this year for your new house to do what?
Help me decorate my Christmas tree. I want the Alvin King tree at my house this year.
Okay, we're going to Costco soon. Okay. But through all of this, some things are happening and people feel indifferent about some things that are happening. And last Sunday, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senator Cory Booker on last Sunday hosted hundreds of supporters at the Capitol, sitting on the steps in protest of congressional Republicans' upcoming push to pass a budget reconciliation bill that they hope will cut $1.5 trillion in federal spending. That bill, according to Hakeem Jeffries and Cory Booker, they believe presents one of the greatest moral threats to our country and that they've ever seen in terms of what it will do to providing food for the hungry, care for the elderly, services for the disabled, health care for the sick, and so much more. And both of them said this all at the beginning of their sit-ins. And Democrats for months have warned the House Republicans' budget blueprint will lead to over $880 billion in cuts to Medicaid, a federal program that provides health insurance and provide insurance for low income Couldn't get that out. Low income families. God, this whole Let's Get Newsy got me all heated. So anyway, I got a question for you guys again. Is it effective for political leaders like Jeffries and Booker to use sit-ins and public demonstrations to protest legislation, or should they focus more on negotiations behind closed doors?
Well, let me say this. No disrespect to either one of the gentlemen at all. I do respect them, but for Hakeem Jeffries, he is still a puppet of Nancy Pelosi. She's pulling the strings. So I don't want people to think that he is independent of his actions and his thinking. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. And with Cory Booker, he's a senator, and the Constitution is set up for him to have a little bit more power, if you will. Now, he did filibuster, as we know, last month, a month and a half ago, but it's not enough. They keep talking about this country being in a dire straits in terms of the Constitution. They kept repeating that before the election. They kept saying, this is about saving democracy. This is about saving our country. Well, what are you doing to actually save our country post the election? Sitting down on your ass is not much of an action.
But do you really believe, Shawn, that they're sitting down on their behinds? I almost went down your road. Because, at the end of the day, my question to you is, what can they do? What, in your opinion, what can they do? Being that
they can use the tactics that the Green Party has, that the Tea Party used back in the day. They can use the tactics that MAGA is using in terms of disrupting the process, if you will, to hold hostage the Congress on both sides, the House and the Senate. They can do all kinds. They can put forth crazy legislation just to hold things up if they chose to do that. Okay, they can be more adamant about protecting the budget of DC government so that we don't lose $1.1 billion out of our current budget, if you will. But they're not doing any of that. They're doing these passive actions, if you will, that really isn't exciting anyone in the base of the party. It's not motivating anyone to get on the streets and say, hey, we're going to fight, and we are at a stage to fight. Now, how can you say for 6 months before the election that we're in dire straits, but yet we don't see anything coming from you that shows that we're in dire need of something radical in terms of an action step?
I have to echo what Shawn is saying. I do believe, I believe that there is an appropriate combination of the two. I think that there is significance in holding a visible sit-in and working together. I don't think it alone is enough. I do agree with Shawn in that the opposing side has shown almost masterful tactics in terms of holding things up, blocking things, making sure that they have press that allows them to constantly get their message across. And it's not the norm for this party, but I think that dire circumstances require dire tactics. And I do believe that, as Shawn was saying, if you believed that the election of this person was going to put in jeopardy all that we know, then you already that's when you begin strategizing for the plan B and how do you then kind of counter it. It just feels like they're still kind of sitting around going like, so how do we do this? It's like, well, you knew he was coming, so like you should have had some plan. But I agree, galvanizing people is really important.
I think we should take this show and they should put it on a green screen or somewhere in Congress because obviously I agree with both of you. And that's why I wanted to bring this up, because I knew the other two he says were going to have something that they needed to say that you all needed to hear. Eric Shields, you said something a little while ago, Eric Shields. Democrats need better messaging. They need to be on podcasts, social media, and set up advertisements broadcasting their wins and how the actions of MAGA is truly affecting us. They need to be as vocal as the truth as MAGA is with their lies. Come on now.
Amen.
Like I'm seeing some of these commercials that just randomly come on talking about how this president is doing this, and it's nothing but it's a commercial. And like campaign season is over. It's propaganda just being put in front of us. I agree.
And,
Well,
and people should
hold on.
remember, and folks should remember, that's what the Germans, that's what Hitler's people did in the 1930s that led up to the Second World War. It was a slow rollout of propaganda and controlling the media, et cetera, and so forth. I'm not saying that's going to happen here in this country, but that's what they did.
Yep. We've seen it. We've seen it on the global stage. And that is why, Alvin, I'm like saying, I don't think people feel sorry for it. They think we're stupid. It's like, you've seen this. This is a perfect example of something you've already seen in another place.
Yep.
Well, one of our viewers, John, said, please explain. And because I didn't expect this to go this route, but John said, please explain how to block something when they don't have the numbers to hold up anything.
But see, that's the thing. People forget that for a long time, the Tea Party, they didn't have the majority. These Republicans did not have the majority in Congress or in the Senate, but they were still able to hold up legislation. Okay, it really doesn't take but one person. I mean, again, let's use Washington, D.C. to see this as an example, how one person has put forth legislation basically to remove $1 billion from D.C.'s budget. That's one individual that has done this. And he's a Republican who doesn't even live in Washington, D.C. So that's how we do these things. They've got to, be Mike Tyson. If they punch you, bite the ear off.
Right.
Yeah. And if the numbers alone aren't there, again, it's like, then how do you strategize? You you provide opportunities and evidence for people that what they're being told is not actually true. You've just got to put it in front of them in very tangible ways. You've got to show up to these town hall meetings. You got to show up in states where they've been led to believe that the factories were going to open again and jobs were going to be there. And it's like, okay, have the factories opened up for you again.
Mm-hmm. And most importantly, they can't be afraid to make people mad and not like them.
Right. See, and that is part of the Democratic Party's MO that I can't stand. You got to piss people off. We're going to go to one more question from Al McGill. She had a statement right here, so we can move on. Alma said, I think they are on social media. I think they are trying to get MAGA word out. I think the constituents of MAGA are louder, and actually Democratic constituents need to yell louder. We all know what group needs to get upset and do something about what's happening, and it isn't the group that we are a part of. Amen. Amen. Amen.
They need more Jasmine Crockett's out there, and they need to also realize that if you've been serving for 40 years, it's time for you to pass the baton to younger people.
Yes. Well,
all right, guys, we're gonna keep it moving. See,
all right, okay. So I wanted to talk about the fact that people are questioning also. We were talking about the attack on democracy, that Black history also is being attacked in a variety of ways. And one way that has garnered a lot of attention of late is the speculation that the Smithsonian would be removing historic civil rights artifacts from the museum. And so last week, a report from Black Press USA suggested that the Greensboro lunch counter display, a centerpiece artifact from the civil rights movement, would be removed from the National Museum of African American History and Culture. The report quickly made waves as many expressed anger and concern, especially given today's political climate where Black history is constantly being under attack. Now, adding fuel to the fire, civil rights activist Reverend Amos Brown told NBC News here in Washington that he was recently notified that 2 artifacts that he had loaned to the museum would be returned to him, even though he hadn't asked for them back. Now, what we've also come to understand during a little bit of research is that there is a rotation schedule for some artifacts. Some are part of a permanent collection, and some artifacts were loaned originally under the expectation that there would be a rotation and that the owners would be contacted to see if the museum was able to maintain the artifact, or would the owner like it to be returned. So, but just the thought of hearing that something was going to be returned was very troubling to a lot of people. Now, according to the Smithsonian, they responded on Monday morning saying that the Greensboro lunch counter, where 4 Black students staged a pivotal protest during the civil rights movement, nor the stool are expected to be returned. That is what they are saying right now. The reality for me is that I don't trust any of them. I think that there are deals being made behind doors. I think that we would be foolish to believe, given all of the other executive orders and other things that we're seeing, all of the national websites around museums and so forth that are being mandated to erase and remove historical facts, not just ideas, feelings and opinions, but actual facts, I'm very concerned. I think that museum in particular downtown is under siege. I think the whole removal of the executives who oversee it and did so with love and care, and that the vice president now being the person overseeing the running of that museum, we have every reason to be concerned about the maintaining of what I believe, and I've said to you guys many times, are sacred artifacts of the American history that are a part of Black history, that are Black history, I should say, but are a part also of American history. We have reason to be concerned. What do you guys think?
I'm concerned. I'm concerned, and I'm sorry. I wish I had more to say other than I don't believe anything. I am not. I believe that they will do anything,
absolutely,
to erase anything about our history, including setting fire to that building if they could.
Alvin, God, I'd let it never happen. But
I'm just saying what they're capable of.
I agree with you, because one of the things that people have said is, I've heard people go like, well, don't they realize how important this is? And absolutely they realize how important it is, because to be in that, you cannot be in that museum and not be reminded of the strength and resiliency of the people who overcame obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. You understand the power of it. And so that is why it's trying to be diminished and erased.
But here's the thing.
And like I said, there are exhibits in that building that I was a part of. Those people, those times, those moments. So you can't tell me that it didn't happen.
Right.
Here's the thing. I'm sorry, Alvin. I apologize. But here's the thing. They told us a long time ago that they want to get rid of things like critical race theory. They told us they don't like the fact that the word slavery is in some textbooks, particularly like in Texas and Florida. So should we be concerned? We should be greatly concerned.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I think what their ultimate goal is to not just remove the artifacts. I think that actually is kind of on a low scale for them. It's lower on the bottom of the list of things to do. I think what they really want to do is get rid of the actual documentation of history, the actual removal of anything that relates to slavery or the slave trade and the history behind all of that. I think that's their ultimate goal. Yes.
And because a significant portion of the operating budget is federally funded, I think about a third of it, and it sits on federal ground, land. That's the issue that allows a certain level of control. It would really call upon the larger community to be able to replace that. If they decide they are going to pull that 1/3 of the funding of the museum, it would then call upon us as a community to rise up above and to be able to support the operating budget. But I still think the greater concern revolves around who is being placed to oversee it and who they actually appoint to actually work on it, work on the museum on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm going to this note just came to us from our producer. So about this matter, it's important to note that a significant percentage of the operating funding for the Smithsonian Museum of African American History comes from private funding. So with that being said, that for them to go in and do what they're doing is not only, in my opinion, from what I understand this to mean, it is illegal. It is just not something that they can go in and do. But then again, I've seen stranger things happen.
Yeah.
So
they're not able to withhold the federal funding, and they have control over, again, just like any of us who are residents of the DMV and the district in particular. You understand, you may own your house,
right,
but you don't own the land.
You don't own the land.
What happens to the land? And that building, it's on federal land.
Amen. All right, let's keep it moving because we go. Let's keep it moving because ladies and gentlemen, we got newsy for y'all this week. But see, y'all in tune with us tonight. Y'all trying to make us go overtime, and I love you for it.
We got more news to give you. We still newsy.
All right, but I have the next story, and again, this is another weird person. So this is regarding Elon Musk. So this is from Politico.
Regarding who?
Yeah. So we all know about his weird behavior, but this is very recent. So Elon Musk joined President Orangeman in an interview with Air Force Secretary nominee Troy Mike, according to Mike's own disclosure to Congress, a highly unusual move that raises serious conflict of interest concerns about the space mogul's role in the selection process. The previously unreported detail appeared in Mike's written answers to the Senate Armed Services Committee and was obtained by Politico. The disclosure is significant because Musk has billions of dollars in national security and defense contracts at stake as CEO of SpaceX. This includes Pentagon launch contracts, satellite systems, and the Orangeman's purpose missile defense shield known as Golden Dome. But his involvement in the personal decision for a top Air Force post marks a new level of political reach for the billionaire entrepreneur and a potential breach of ethical norms and that discourages contractors from influencing leadership decisions in agencies that oversee their contracts. This goes to two men and their abnormal behavior.
There is no potential breach of appropriateness here. This is completely a conflict of interest without question that anyone can see. Like, there is no question that he should not be involved in any way because he stands to benefit from whoever they appoint. Like, it's as the old folks used to say, Stevie Wonder can see that this is a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Well, as many people that are, that are on Capitol Hill, like you said, can see that this is a conflict of interest, they are trying to band together to impeach Donald Trump for, was it a third time, right? Because he's been impeached twice, right?
Multiple times.
Two articles of impeachment. So they're putting out now a third. They're trying to impeach him for the third time, and a trio of House Democrats have asked to be removed as co-sponsors of a resolution to impeach him. And they are Kwanzaa Mfume, Robin Kelly, and Jerry Nadler. They signed on as co-sponsors of the Schreinator's impeachment resolution. But this week, they went to the House floor and asked for their names to be taken off the legislation. The House clerk granted their request because spokespeople for Kelly and Mfume, Quasi Mfume, said the lawmakers initially signed on to the effort because they assumed it had been reviewed by leadership, but they found out that it had not been. And when they found out that it had not been reviewed by leadership, they thought it was going to be an uphill battle to impeach Donald Trump. And they said, and plus it wasn't being organized properly. So they pulled out. So do you think that the House Democrats were right to withdraw their support from the impeachment resolution once they realized it hadn't been cleared by the party leadership? Or should they have just stayed and fought it out?
Where was it going to go? Again, we just spoke about, action steps, and come on, do the math. That was one reason why, again, Nancy Pelosi, one reason that she was able to be so successful is that she was able to do the math. She was able to count votes before an actual vote took place. And so for them to even put this out there, really, oh my God.
Well, yeah, I know, but again, I got to go back to what we were talking about earlier. You got to do something. And I know you ran down a litany of things that they could do, Shawn. You did. And thank God we have you on this panel because, nobody knows it. Let me stop. I can't sing it because they'll take us off. But yeah, and there are things that they can do. But, that even in this matter, these three lawmakers said something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
And you're not going to attach my name to it.
You have some respect for that. Like you got to be thoughtful and strategic, but it does beg the question, when they signed it, did they do their research to figure out what was going on before they signed it? So
don't make me throw a shoe at you, Bobby. Okay, all the
way. We're very political, and I don't want our listeners and our viewers to think that the only thing we're going to talk about is politics right now.
No, we're not.
And you all know I don't watch any of the housewives of any of those cities because I think, in the words of my friend Michi, she often says that they are thugs in cocktail dresses, is what she often says. But I did get some wind about a brawl, and I mean a serious brawl, a massive brawl that erupted on a Carnival cruise ship, okay, landing 24 people on a do not sail list. Carnival said, we will not tolerate such behavior, and 24 people have been placed on our do not sail list. Now, apparently what happened was a massive brawl following a Carnival cruise has resulted in these people being on this list. Now, the incident occurred inside a cruise terminal in Galveston, Texas, on Sunday, April 26th. Passengers had just disembarked after a 7-day Western Caribbean cruise on the Carnival Jubilee when the fight broke out. Now, the footage shared by Facebook shows a group of rowdy passengers crowded around in what happens to be a baggage claim area. Dozens of suitcases can be seen in the background being tossed by several passengers, seemingly beginning to chase another passenger to another area. And so it begs the question, gentlemen, what in the world is going on that people are breaking out in brawls in the baggage claim area of the Carnival Cruise Company? I don't know what's going on with people. Like
self-entitlement.
You said what?
Self-entitlement.
I don't know what it is, but I don't go on a cruise to relax and have a good time and then get into a brawl at the baggage claim area.
Can I ask our producer to please pull up that middle? There was one picture that you put up. I just want our viewers to see that so I can make my point for a minute. Can you put that picture back up? Go back. Keep right here.
That would be.
Study this one. Study this picture carefully, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't see it here, go home and blow it up. But study this picture here and see who's in this picture. Who is responsible for the brawl?
What are you saying? Not only see who's in the picture, see who is not in.
Who is not in the picture? And I rest my case. That's all I'm going to say. There are better things to do when you're going on vacation to act a fool. And I'm glad that there's no room for people to say, "Oh, they're They're having a mental breakdown. They're having trauma." You're going to say mental illness has something to do with it. No. So
I'm going to need your cousins. I'm going to need your cousins to be better. Is all I'm going to say.
Right. Not my cousins. I love going to Colombia, South America, and I'm really concerned about one of my favorite places to visit right now because they're having a health issue in Colombia. So, really? So Colombia's health ministry yesterday declared a public health emergency owing to the circulation of yellow fever in several regions of the country. In a statement, officials said that since September 2024, the country has recorded 75 cases, 34 of them fatal, for the case fatality rate of 45.3%. Cases have been reported in 9 departments through most of the Tolima, located in the Andean region of the west central part of the country. The deaths were in 8 districts, most of them in Tolima. So I love Colombia. I've been to Cartagena, I've been to Medellin. No cases there as of yet, but the government there has been very proactive at getting the residents, the citizens of the country vaccinated against yellow fever. So if you still want to go to Medellin, Cartagena, Bogota, you should be okay. But when you go on those excursions, out into the countryside, you might want to get your yellow fever vaccine.
What worries me more than anything is it coming here because we don't have the kind of leadership in terms of our health and human services that leaves me with any confidence that should there be any level of a breakout here, that we would be covered with intelligence. Like, that's what concerns me. Obviously, I'm concerned about the people of Colombia, but knowing that people travel and that it could come back here, I'm concerned. And I'm gonna leave it at that, because I know we still got a lot of news to share with you guys, but I just want to say, like, we in trouble, girl. I mean,
well, I want to say to the viewers, thank you all for joining them, for being a part of our, our hot topics. But, we tonight, we want to make sure that we got some social, sports, and entertainment news, just a little bit that we want to share with you. So we may go over tonight, ladies and gentlemen, about a little bit. And thank you all for joining us. But I just got to tell y'all up front, because you all want to hear what we have to talk about tonight. And I'm going to move right into the sports, social, and entertainment news. And I'm going to start off with, I love my Philadelphia Eagles, but this week, running back Saquon Barkley is getting heat, ladies and gentlemen, because hours before the White House visit this week with President Trump, the Philadelphia running back Saquon Barkley responded to backlash on social media after he was spotted with the president on Sunday in New Jersey. And he posted on his X, formerly known as Twitter, on Monday, telling people to get out of my mentions after he was seen getting off Marine One at Morristown Municipal Airport. He posted that he played golf with Trump on Sunday, claiming that he respects the office of the presidency. And he, in the same breath, had the goal to say he mentioned playing golf with President Obama in October 24, as if the two playing golf with these two different people, just because they were president, meant that he's all American and he's about presidency. And so people are like pissed off about the fact that he is playing or spending time with the president. And he posted one more post saying, maybe I just respect the office, not a hard concept to understand. And he went on to say, now I want all of you all to basically get out of my business. So Shawn and Bobby, was Saquon Barkley wrong for golfing and appearing publicly with President Trump? Or is it right to say it's simply about respecting the office, and that was his reason to do it?
I don't respect the office if the office does not respect me.
He can do whatever he wants. He can hang out with whomever he wants, but he's got to know as an adult, there are consequences with whomever you hang out with.
Well, he is in an interracial relationship, so I do know that. I'm just saying that, not that factors in, but I know many interracial relationships where one party is over here and one party is over there. But as you said, he can do what he wants. As far as I'm concerned, I just want to see you run up and down the field. That's it. Period. Done.
Well, his team leader, the one who actually is a good man, Jalen Hurts, did the opposite. The Philadelphia Eagles visited the White House Monday, as you said, but several key players didn't make the trip, the main one being Jalen Hurts. The Eagles quarterback wasn't present at the team Super Bowl celebration because he had a scheduling conflict, according to NBC News White House correspondent. Several other players also missed the event, including wide receiver A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. The Eagles have known since mid-March that the White House celebration would be April 28th. So there's the contrast.
Now, I don't know. I don't think that being in an interracial relationship impacts that decision. I'm saying that sometimes there is a division in perspective and experience.
Sometimes it does, though. I'm sorry, but I think sometimes it does. I mean,
I just put it out there because it does. But he said. So Bobby's truly entitled to his.
He is. Sorry, Bobby, but.
And it's based upon the fact that, and I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I don't think that the two are automatically impacted. But what I will say is that I have great respect for a scheduling conflict. That's what I will say to you.
That part.
That's what I'll say to you.
That part.
What I wish is that someone else would have had a scheduling conflict and not conducted an interview that just affirmed for me that this actor who is well known and someone that personally for Bobby, I've always kind of questioned him as a person and his character, and he's nothing but affirmed my concerns. Actor Terrence Howard was recently in an interview talking about some of the roles that he has passed up and really questioned whether or not they were necessarily the right choice. He's had the opportunity to play some pretty big name entertainers. Mainly, we were talking about Smokey Robinson and Marvin Gaye. Now, he was saying that, it was a big mistake to pass on playing Smokey Robinson, but that he has no regrets in passing up playing Marvin Gaye. And the reason that he says that he has no regrets about it is because of the revelation that Marvin Gaye was supposedly, in fact, a gay man. And in order to play that role and play it with authenticity, he might be called upon to actually kiss a man. And he actually said that he did not want to play the role because he could not play it thoroughly. He is a thespian, as I understand it, that playing roles is what he is paid to do. However, he could not play that role authentically. And he said because he didn't want to kiss a man, and he went so far as to say, I would cut my lips off. Quote, I would cut my lips off if I had to do that. So Bill Maher, who I also have issues with, who asked him, so you mean you couldn't kiss a guy on screen or a movie? And he said, no, because I don't fake it. I would cut my lips off if I kissed a man. I would simply cut my lips off. So it's Terrence Howard actually saying that unless he can 100% relate to and have the experience of a character that he's playing, that he can't play the character. So when he was playing Lucius Lyons on Empire, was that truly who he is? That he could play that authentically? There are people.
Or Ike Turner.
He didn't play Ike Turner, did he?
Did he play? Wasn't he Ike Turner in what's up?
That's Lawrence Fishburne.
No,
Lawrence Fishburne. I'm talking about with Angela Bassett.
That was Lawrence Fishburne.
That was Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was him. Okay, all right. So,
but the level of lack of
homophobia.
I just am like, it just confirms for me who Terrence Howard is. So,
well, I think we kind of always know who he is, and I'm not the biggest fan of his, but he is a pretty decent thespian, if you will. But look at it this way, and I don't have the documentation in front of me, but I think Denzel Washington has said that he doesn't kiss white women on screen, and for a reason. I forget this guy's name, but he's a white actor and he's a Christian, but he too won't engage in certain scenes or in roles because he won't simulate sex as an actor. So I get that. I truly do. Now the way he put it out there, bad, really, really bad, bad PR. But I can say, okay, right, you don't want to kiss another man in this role, fine. I mean, nothing against you, so but you don't get the role.
Please hear me when I say, and I want to be clear about this because this is documented and recorded, and I want to be clear. I agree with you that he has the right to his own opinion. What is disheartening to me, day and age where he should be intelligent enough to know that the statement I would cut my lips off perpetuates this toxic masculinity and homophobic space. But he has the right to say, it's just not a role that I don't feel playing a homosexual man is appropriate for me. Fine, that's your role, but I would cut my lips off?
That was really bad. Now, I don't think that Terrence Howard is homophobic. I do think that he is this uber masculine thing. I do think that he's a little bit toxic in that way, but I
agree to disagree. You cannot be, if you say that you would cut your lips off from kissing a man, you are homophobic.
I don't think I
need more info. I need more evidence of something.
I'm not even going on record saying anything about it. Okay, I'm not even going to do that because
let's move on. I'm going to cut my lips off.
I'm going to focus on the internet is having a meltdown right now over Blue Ivy's dance tribute in her mom Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour that opened this week. Blue Ivy didn't come to play, okay, at the opening show for Beyonce's Cowboy Carter's tour in Los Angeles. The internet, for one, has been losing its mind, you guys. The first show for Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour took place this week in Los Angeles, and you don't really need more than a scroll on social media to see that it was a certified banger. The sold-out Sophie Stadium was just booming with Beyonce stands. However, had more than one star to look to. Blue Ivy joined her mom, Queen Bey, appearing on several intervals through the night. Now, this isn't the first time the 13-year-old made, headlines for her presence, but this top-notch choreography that she had to do, coupled with her undeniable stage presence, and not to mention unwavering confidence in front of thousands of screaming fans, had absolutely taken the internet by storm. And keep in mind, it was only 2 or 3 years ago where half the world was talking about, one, how ugly she was, how she couldn't dance. I mean, just really pouring evil, negative stuff on this little girl who was out there with her mother. So Blue Ivy, kudos to you, first of all. Kudos to Beyonce. Kudos to just the whole family image that she's putting out there with bringing her kids on, on her show. So, Bobby, do you and Shawn think that Blue Ivy is carving out her own place in the spotlight, or is it too soon for her to be center stage with her mom right now?
Nepotism.
Well, and you know what? Nepotism, and Asians do it. White folks do it. Black folks do it. Italians do it.
Yes, yeah.
Nepotism. I agree with you, Shawn. Nepotism. I agree. Put her out there.
I will say that there is debate as to how old a child should be before they're kind of put so centered into the spotlight. And I think that's a parent's choice. I think that she is a child of two extremely famous people. And there are other children of famous people where the parents have decided to kind of keep them out of the spotlight for a certain period. I will say to you that in the case of Blue Ivy, that choice is up to the parents. But what I will say is that she did not come to play. And she who laughs first sometimes laughs last, I guess. But all I'm saying is they came for her inappropriately as a small child in that first tour. She shouldn't dance, blah, 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 blah. And what Blue Ivy has done is demonstrated to herself and to them that she is capable. She is as talented with the training and the study. She's obviously put in a great deal of work because she was hanging with those dancers as if she were a dancer. And so, if you're going to put her out there, just have her ready. Now, there were some issues that first time, and I was like, oh, yeah. But
she was 11 years old. She was 11, and she's gone on to act. Drew Barrymore, look at her. There's been child actors that have been doing it since they were 2 and 3 years old. And I mean, out there, their families, their famous families put them out there, and they became superstars now. But they weren't on a stage or a concert stage like she is. So, that if that's any reason to believe that she shouldn't get a start from her mom, her rich mom and dad.
Well, if there's any stage she's going to be on, I'd say be on that one with your mom.
I say be on that. Kudos to the Carter family. Kudos to Beyonce for putting that whole family. The word I'm trying to that whole image of her bringing her daughters and stuff out there. Seeing the legacy right in front of you. I loved all of that. I love that.
Oh. Okay, let's keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. So what else? We gotta look. What? Bobby, I'm sorry. I know that there's a what do you call it? There's another big award show, Bobby, that's coming up, and I know we were talking about it today.
Met Gala?
Oh my goodness, huh?
Met Gala? Is that what you're
No. We were talking about it today. Where Chubby Checker and all of them, the Hall of Fame. Right.
We do have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that's coming up, and there's some really interesting names on there. In particular, there are two artists of color that will be included, including Outkast is one of the lists. Chubby Checker is among that list, in addition to the White Stripes and more, joining the 2025 list of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So we did want to salute that. So they're the inductees for 2025. And so it includes Bad Company, Chubby Checker, Joe Crocker, the White Stripes, Soundgarden. So yeah, and of course, none other than the main girl who wants to always have fun, Miss Cyndi Lauper.
Miss Cyndi
So
Lauper.
congratulations to Outkast and Chubby Checker.
I'm excited about Outkast. And before we let you all go on our, we got to let you all know that this coming Monday, the long-awaited Met Gala is happening, ladies and gentlemen. And even though Bobby, Shawn, and I will be in a production meeting, my TV will be taping. And these are the hosts this year for the Met Gala. Here are some of the images. It comes on at 6 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, on Vogue's YouTube. If you're not a member of Vogue's YouTube, please go there because you don't want to miss it. And of course, as we do in true he said fashion, next week we will give our top picks from the Met Gala. Hopefully it won't be the same people who I did last year because they did it the year before. But if they are who they are, that's who they are. But this is LaRoche. He styled all of the looks for the Vogue magazine issues. And so I am really excited about this show coming on. But this week on Monday is the Met Gala, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you all for joining us tonight for our Let's Get Newsy. We really appreciate you. Yes, Bobby, you were going to say something? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say I am on the hunt for that issue of Vogue. I've been looking for it. So if anybody sees it, let a brother know where I'm not asking you to get it. I will get it, but I'm on the hunt for it because I cannot wait. I've seen some of the previews of that photo shoot, and I want it to be a part of my collection. I just think it's going to be a beautiful. So if you're out there and you know where Bobby can get the Vogue issue, Met Gala issue.
I couldn't find any in New York. So when I was there,
I'm not asking you to look for it because I know you ain't going to be looking for it.
Who, me? Shawn. Oh, I was going to say Shawn.
He's like, I don't know where I ain't talking to you, Shawn.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, next week is a very special show, ladies and gentlemen, especially for those of us who live in D.C. and around the world. But we are celebrating. We are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Children's Hour for the Clubhouse, the legendary Clubhouse, ladies and gentlemen. And we will have the originators, the birth givers. We will have people who put the first stone, who put the first key in the door of the Clubhouse. They will be here to talk about that special event that will be happening on Memorial Day weekend, ladies and gentlemen. We are very excited about that. And again, thank you all for joining our live show tonight. And as always, we don't want to leave you without giving our words of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Bobby. It's a full-time job believing in yourself. No days off.
Not one.
Not one. All right. Thank you all for hanging in there with us tonight. We really appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing you next week on a new live episode of He Said.
He said.
You guys have a good weekend. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Be newsy. Call me if you find that Vogue. Not you, Shawn.